Now, before we can come up with the motif or theme, we need a chord progression to play the idea over. So in this video, let's talk about some chord progressions that work well for hero themes, as we're going to be designing the main motif or theme over this chord progression. This can change through the composition, but let's be a bit generic and use some of the more commonly used epic heroic chord progressions for this track. So the main thing about heroes is that they're positive, strong, bold characters. So you want a chord progression that's going to match this and give you that emotion. Let's try out some of these chord progressions so that you can hear them and get a heroic feel. This is the first one, which is quite a common chord progression that's used. It's going from A minor to C to G to D. Take a listen to this. Let's loop that through. So you can hear you get a sort of positive vibe from that, and you feel very good and know that it could be associated with a strong hero character. And this chord progression is heard quite a bit through heroic, epic cinematic pieces, so you know it does work. Now let's listen to some others which are sort of deviations over this chord progression. This next one is A minor to E to G to D. So there's a slight deviation with the second chord used there in the chord progression. And you can hear it's slightly different with that E in there. And how about this one? This is A minor to F to C to G. Now I really like that one. What you probably would have noticed with all these patterns so far is that they're starting off with a minor root and then they're followed by 3 major chords. So with the minor, you might get a connection with the character, and then that major chord gives you that positive sort of affirmation or vibe. And let's look at one more chord progression. This one is A minor to G to C to D. Pretty interesting that D throws it to a sort of different direction. But I really like this A minor F C G. So let's use that. And I'm not saying that you have to use these chord progressions, but they've proved to work in the genre. So let's just use one of these chord progressions to be quite generic and see where it goes. And just to give you an idea of how this will sound with a sort of orchestral taste, let's take this part and copy it down onto the string ensemble track over here and take a listen to it. Just add some modulation into that. And immediately it feels more epic and hero-like with these sort of orchestral types of tracks. So that gives you an idea on where we're going with this. We've got a chord progression that we want to use for the remainder of the series. Now, in the next video, let's start coming up with the main motif or theme over this chord progression.